Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on June 12th, 2018. I'm so excited to present to you this webinar about time management as an entrepreneur. Time management is one of those things that is a mindset shift. It's not just a series of actions, but it's actually a way of thinking. As an entrepreneur, it's very hard to manage your time. There's so many things that you have to do and so many things that you have to get done. And at times it can be difficult to know what should you focus on, what you should prioritize, what you can delegate, what you can, automate. And so I want to give you a couple of tips. Some of the things that I use for sure. I can tell you as an entrepreneur, I understand that time management is hard. And I say that because in being an entrepreneur, I'm also a full-time mom. I have 3 boys. One of them is a toddler. I'm married, and I also work full-time and then consulting and working with clients. And then I'm in school getting my doctorate. So I definitely understand having to manage my time in the best manner. And so as an entrepreneur, we have to know what are the tasks that are the most important. And so what I'm going to do is give you about 7 tips. And like I said, some of these tips are things that I use, and then other tips just come from my research. And so I just want to say welcome. My name is Ronika Jacobs from Strive Leadership Consulting. And I am a coaching and training company. I deal with the personal development side of entrepreneurs. And in addition to just the personal development side of entrepreneurs, just the personal development side of teams and individuals and leaders. And so what I do is I use the Strengths Finder assessment, and I have my clients take that assessment. Once they find out their top 5, then I work with them to know when to dial up any of your top 5 strengths or when to dial them back. Not all strengths are appropriate for every environment. And so we have to make sure that we're using them in the correct manner. Our top 5 strengths are strengths that we use naturally. And so we don't have to put in a lot of work to use these strengths. We do it without even thinking about it. And so without further ado, I want to just jump right on in, and I want to get to the webinar that's centered around time management for entrepreneurs. And so when you hear the word entrepreneur, your first thought might be like, Richard Branson, or it may be other people such as Daymond John or all the sharks on the Shark Tank. And so these are high level entrepreneurs, and they saw an opportunity to solve a problem and make a lot of money doing it. And not only were they solving problems, for instance, with Shark Tanks, they have seen other people who are solving problems and invested into them as well. And so they built capital. They created products and services that are unique and became very wealthy. The ideas in this report that in this webinar that I'm going to be giving you are just some of the ways that high-level entrepreneurs succeed. And like I said, not only just high-level entrepreneurs, but these are also tips and things that I use as well as an entrepreneur. Now, have no doubts, if you are a new entrepreneur or even a solo business owner, putting these 7 time management ideas to work will advance your business to new levels. And some of the ideas can be incorporated immediately. And then while some of the others that I'm going to give you, such as like some of the software I'm going to give you to tell you about, and some of the apps I'm going to tell you about, they will require a little bit of research and some decision making to see if they are the apps that work best for you and for your business. In addition, some things are going to be great for you and your business. And then depending on what industry you are in, or depending on what the nature of your business or the nature of your company, some of these things will work for you and some of them won't. Other apps and ideas that I'm going to give you, most of them are either free or cheap. And then some of them may cost a little bit of money. And so now we're just going to jump right in. And so tip number 1 is that you want to set your business goals. So I want to ask you, are you 100% clear on what your business goals are? because you need to get your new business off to a flying start. Or if you've been in business for a while, there may have been some issues, because Lord knows I've encountered a lot of issues being a business owner. I've had to put out fires, my intentions may not necessarily match my outcomes, but that happens a lot in business. And so a lot of times these issues arise because you may not be seeing things, and that you may not be seeing things crystal clear. So consider having a self-improvement goal as part of your business goals. If you have self-improvement as part of your goals, it will strengthen the other areas of your goal setting. So you get a mentor or a coach who has the experience in the areas of self-confidence, self-esteem, or creating a new mindset around achieving success in business. Hint, hint, that's where I come in. But it's very important, because you have to have mental stamina. You have to have mental resilience in order to be an entrepreneur, to run a business. And especially if you are a solopreneur, meaning you own a business and you run it by yourself, there's no one for you to check in with to see if this is the right decision, to see if you should spend this amount of money, if you should, take on this client, or make this contract, or do this agreement. There's no one for you to check with that. And so sometimes having a business coach or someone who can help your self-confidence and be a cheerleader for you is always great. You need to set income goals and keep track of everything. The most basic thing is having monthly, quarterly, and annual income goals. If you want to be a high-functioning, successful entrepreneur, think about tracking everything daily in a special spreadsheet. So, for example, I track my data that I spend on Facebook advertising. And so Facebook advertising, if you have a Facebook fan page, they actually have what is called a business manager. And so it's a business Facebook page and a business account. And so you log in with Facebook, and you log into Facebook business, and you port your Facebook page over to the Facebook business. And it'll give you all types of analytics based upon how much money you are spending on advertising. And you can tailor it by date, or, a certain set of time, like a month. But every morning I get up and I track the day before. So I track how much money I was spending, and I put it all in an Excel spreadsheet. And if you want a copy of that spreadsheet, you can just send me an email at the end of this webinar, and I will make sure I can get that out to you. But I use that, and it helps me to kind of do some research, see what ads are working, how much money I'm spending on it. Should I quit the ad, or should I keep using it? And if it's working, because as an entrepreneur, you have to know, you don't want to, spend a lot of money that's wasteful and that's not efficient for you and your business. Also, if you want to be a high functioning, successful entrepreneur, like I said, you have to make sure that you're keeping track of every dollar that comes in and then every dollar that goes out. When we think about the athletes and them keeping track of their money, most of them, they become broke, right? Even after a short period of time. One, because they're not keeping track of their spending. Most of businesses go bankrupt because the small business owner or the main owner of the business was not keeping track of money. They were making lots of money, but they weren't keeping track of their spending. And so QuickBooks is always great. So I would suggest that you invest in some great QuickBooks software. There are other software that's out there that you can use, but definitely QuickBooks is amazing. And it helps you keep track of your spending. Luckily, we're in the world of technology. And so there are some basic apps on your phone that you can download. I don't know. I don't have any that I've tried specifically. And so I don't like to give, recommendations for apps that I've never used, but I definitely have used QuickBooks for many, many years. And I can tell you that it's very successful in tracking how much you're bringing in and also what the amount of money you're sending out. Also within setting your business goals, I want you to stop the internal negative dialogue. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and pretend and tell you that, I have totally, as an entrepreneur, banished all the negative self-talk, because I get it. It's hard. Like I said before, you can second guess yourself too many times. And so if you focus yourself, and you just understand that you just have to stick with it. And if you don't, when you keep that negative energy around you, sometimes you can even talk yourself out of something that is destined for you. So you want to be careful to not talk yourself out of something. If you go ahead and push forward, you set a goal, say, you know what, this month I'm going to try A. And if it doesn't work, then scrap it and don't worry about it and move on to plan B. The very worst that can happen is that it doesn't work, right? But if you set a plan and have a goal as to what you're trying to accomplish, and then you do, like I said, you measure it, you keep track of the data, and you'll be able to know if it's working or if it's not working. But just make sure that you stop that internal negative dialogue. So let's give an example. Let's say you have a great idea for something that will make you $10,000 a month. $10,000 a month sounds awesome, right? And so you go forward, but then what happens? So then resistance sets in and you start thinking, you know what? I don't know if somebody's going to pay me $10,000, or I don't know if somebody's going to pay me $5,000, or I don't know if somebody's going to pay me $500. I don't think people want that. I don't think that people would buy that. You never, ever know. You can't dictate the actions of others, because the point of business is people stay in business because they solve a problem. And as long as you can solve a problem, you can remain in business. Now, another thing that might come into your head as far as resistance, it could be, oh, you know what? I don't want to do that because someone else is doing that. I want to ask you if you've ever gone down the bread aisle in the grocery store. And if you've gone down the bread aisle in the grocery store, you know that there are so many companies that make bread. And as far as I know, there's only one recipe for bread. So did that stop any of these companies, the Mrs. Baird's and all the other, companies that make the Sunburst, I think it's called? They all make bread, right? Buttercrust, they all make bread, right? But that doesn't stop them from continuing to sell their bread, even though they're all selling bread. So don't let that deter you. Still push forward, still set your goals, and you can achieve them. I promise you. And don't let that drown out that negativity that comes in that says, because think about jewelry. There's so many jewelers out there, Kendra Scott and other jewelers, James Avery, they're all selling jewelry. But then there's definitely something unique or something different about that particular jewelry. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's still all jewelry. And so the next tip I want to give to you is to make sure that you define what the tasks that will help you achieve and what are the tasks that will help you achieve those goals. So when you have a business idea and you want to either start it or add it to your existing business, you need to define your tasks. This is where you put on your strategic thinking hat and you write out the who, the what, the where, and the how or the why associated with whatever that task is. I can't say it enough. Network, 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 network. Because sometimes you may not be able to get something done, but like I said, the first question that you should ask yourself anytime you have a goal is, who will help you? Now, maybe you already have a team. If you own a business and you are a part of a team, then that's great. So then put the skills that your team has, put them to work. If you are unaware of the strengths, the unique top 5 strengths of each member of your team, like I said, again, you can contact me and I can do a strengths finder assessment with your team for each person as a part of your team. Because remember, as an individual, we are not well-rounded, but as a team, we are definitely well-rounded. And so, there's always that mantra that together, team just basically means together, everyone achieves more. And so if you have a team, then that's your who. And then put different people in place that is going to help, that will help you towards your goal. If you do not have a team, and again, you are an entrepreneur and you are running the business by yourself, think of your network. Who in your network can help you get to your goal? You got to think about who those people are. And sometimes, especially if there are people who support you, you may not have to pay anything. It may not cost a thing. So many times we move forward and we spend unnecessary money as entrepreneurs when there's a person that we know in our network who is more than willing to help you. And so you have to, seek those people out. And I always say you have not because you ask not. So don't be afraid to ask people. You never know who someone knows or what someone knows. The next thing is, what exactly is the business? So if you haven't started your business yet, then you kind of need to create a business plan and think about mind maps. Like, think about exactly what it is that you're wanting your business to do and what is your business's purpose. Like, what's the purpose of your business? All right. The next thing is the where. Where will you conduct business? That's important because, for example, I don't need to spend money on renting out office space until I need the office space or till I need to put on a live event I don't necessarily spend money on office space. I have a virtual office because it's best for a business to still have a business address. You definitely don't want to have a business outside from your house. You don't want your house address listed as where your business is located. And so what you want to do is make sure that you have a business address. And again, you don't have to spend money in renting office space. What you can do is you can rent virtual office space. And it's just as simple as just getting a personal mailbox. And you can also look up the personal mailboxes online, and there's lots of companies that offer that. Be careful with the UPS or the PO boxes from the post office because a lot of times it's great for getting mail, but for other things such as business credit, growing your business credit and establishing your business credit, it can actually hurt you. So think about those things. Think about virtual offices. Also, give yourself a time frame and give yourself a realistic time frame of how long you think it will take for you to get your business off the ground. And I can tell you that slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. There's nothing that happens fast in entrepreneurship. I know at times it seems like you look and see a business and they just take off and you think that was their inception. And believe it or not, there was so much that happened ahead of their big explosion or their big success story. There was so much work, so much time that went into it, but you will never know that because people aren't going to share that with you. People aren't going to share their journey with you. I can tell you that even with starting this company, this is kind of where I've arrived right now. But I've been speaking and doing different events here and there for quite some time now, about 10 years. But it's been on a small scale, but I have been, speaking. And so I eventually got to a point right now where I feel comfortable to scale things and decided to go into business and coaching others and making sure that people are confident and are being their best selves. So some of the tasks that other people can help you to reach your goals could be getting traffic to your website. Traffic to your website is of course gives you new clients, and so there's ways that you can get traffic to your website, or you can find people that can help you to do that. Some other things are getting testimonials. And if you have new testimonials from your clients, they are showing that you're on top of your game. Studying and trying new methods to gain followers from your customers. Try different things, learning the best of copywriting to create awesome Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook posts for your customers, creating lists for different tasks and tracking everything from sales, expenses, cold calls, buying supplies, right? You can find somebody to find your supplies for you. So just think about that. So make sure you understand that you're writing out those tasks and adding time to complete dates. That will help you save time and achieve your goals. So don't forget to set define your task and set some realistic dates for completion. Tip number 3 is to plan. Again, like I said before, there should be an action plan with clear timeframes, deadlines, and also the who is going to complete this particular task, right? So we have to plan and make sure that we know who's doing what and how we're going to get it done. And so I know recently I saw an ad running across my Facebook feed for an app called Monday. It looks like a really great app. I'm really thinking about, perhaps looking into it. But here's some other, I'm going to give you some other ones that I've used before. And, everyone needs a plan for sure. And as an entrepreneur, who creates the best plan is the one that's going to be more successful. And knowing your strengths and weaknesses of your team members, or knowing, your strengths of yourself and knowing your weaknesses of yourself, once you have that knowledge, then you can decide who's the best person to ask, and you'll know how to set deadlines. Because if you are a person who does not take action quickly, then you're going to have a really hard time if there's a decision that you need to make really quickly. And so sometimes if you have someone on your team, or you have someone who can kind of get the ball rolling and get started, then, tap into that person and see if they can help you. Now, if you're a person who likes to dive in really quickly, and, you've noticed that pattern of behavior has gotten you into trouble, then you want to make sure to remember, sorry about that. You want to make sure to remember, that you need to take some time to take your time and think about decisions as you go along. And so, like I said, with the technology that we have today, there's so many different project management tools that help you keep everything on track. 3 outstanding tools that I like. There's one, it's called Asana, Asana. Asana, it allows you to assign projects and then see on the right-hand side of the app who has the project and what stage they're currently in, such as, if they've just started, or if they're in the middle of it, or if they completed it. You can chart your course for smooth sailing through the entire project. In Asana, there is a feature called Timeline, where you can see the flow of work and where it is being passed to the next team member. Because let's say, B can't happen until A happens. And so, person B is waiting for person A to get finished. And so then you can see the handoff also inside the app. There are over 100 items that you can integrate into Asana, such as emails and all types of other files. Another one is that I've tried before is Basecamp. Basecamp, Basecamp. It works in the same way, and it has features to remind people when a task is overdue. One thing that bogs any business down is endless meetings. And so with Basecamp, it eliminates the need for time wasting meetings, as everyone on the team can just log in and see where the project is. And so perhaps, maybe the project is at 50% done. And so Basecamp kind of will tell you that, oh, okay, so we're at 59% finished. We're almost, done with the project. We're over halfway. And so that way you don't have to have a meeting with everyone or a conference call with everyone to see what the status is of everything. So like I said, there's lots of apps that you can use. Those are 2 that I would just suggest. But like I said, I'm looking into a third one. But I don't have any data on that right now. But I will share those 2 apps that I was telling you about, the Asana and the Basecamp, in the once I send out the replay link, and I'll put those links in there. All right, so moving on to the next tip. Tip number 4 is to eliminate. I can't tell you enough how much we have so many things that I like to call the fatty things that take up time. You don't want to when you have a great steak, for you steak eaters out there, even though, yes, the fat is great. It has lots of flavor, but really what you want is the meat. That's where you get most of your consumption. That's where you get your iron. That's where you get your nutrients. And so we don't sit and buy a steak just for the fat, right? We buy the steak for the meat. And so I want to just, reiterate that is just eliminate as much as you can. Eliminate distractions, long meetings, time wasters, time drainers, and disruptions as much as possible. As an entrepreneur, it is essential that you eliminate distractions. One of the best things that you can do for yourself is hire a personal assistant. There is a company or an app called Upwork. At one point in time, I actually was a virtual assistant, and I did a couple of projects for Upwork. So I've worked on both sides of Upwork, and Upwork, like I said, is UPWORK. They have an app that you can use on your phone, but you can also, there are more features if you use it online. You can hire someone to create a copy ad for you for Facebook, and you can pay, anywhere from $10 to $20, $25. Perhaps you need someone to type up contracts or send contracts for you. You can pay someone to put contracts together and email those out. You set the price. And it's basically kind of like a bid auction. So you set the price for whatever your task is. And then you set a particular price and people bid on it, and they either, different people who are Upworkers, they, will accept the job or not. You can have people start working on the job and see a little bit of their work before you could totally commit to them. If you like that person's particular work, then you can, use them again and again, and you can hire them as one of your contractors. Another great reason to use Upwork is for translating purposes. So maybe you need someone to translate your contracts or to translate any of your documents. Upwork is awesome for that. And like I said, you want to look for quality, definitely. And so you're able to see their quality in their work because you can ask for samples, or you can ask for different projects they've worked on in the past. And so, personal assistants can, stand in for you if you have a basic script for them. So they can, you can hire them, and they can just be the person that can give a generalized script, or then other, virtual assistants can also do other things as well. And so as an entrepreneur, you may want to adopt the mindset of some of the top, in the field. And these are some of the things that they do. They assign weights to requests and possible time wasters. You have to understand that in business, all money is not good money. And you don't, as an entrepreneur, want to spend your time chasing down clients. You don't have time to chase down clients. You want the clients that are serious. You want clients that are committed. And you want clients that believe in you. If you have a client, they're asking lots of questions and they're, giving you lots of hassle, you have to think about, especially even at the beginning of the relationship, if they're tough in the beginning, I can guarantee you they're going to continue to be that way. And so if, let's say, for example, if you're an accountant and, you're constantly having to ask them for receipts, you're constantly having to ask them for expenses and invoices, and constantly have to ask them for data and information to fill out their tax information, that is going to continue. That behavior is not going to change. You don't have time as an accountant, as a small business owner, to waste your time on a client like that. And I know it feels like, but I need that client because they're paying me, because I need their money. You don't need that money that bad, because if you think about it, they're taking up time away from you from other clients that you could potentially have. So rather than wasting time and allowing them to take up so much of your time, you can, let them know that you're going to have to sever the relationship, take the time, advertise for your business. You probably could get 2 or 3 more clients in the place of that one, client that's taking up a lot of your time. And so you want to make sure that you place tasks on a scale of 1 to 10. And if it doesn't work, don't be afraid to say no. As business owners, you have to stand firm in what you believe in. You have to stand firm and have professional courage. You know what you are about. This is your business. And, you have to take care of it. If you think about your business being like your baby, we take care of our children, we take care of our babies, and we're not going to let anyone mess with our babies, right? So the same thing goes with your business. You're not going to let someone mess with your business, and people will try it all the time. And so just make sure you recognize it and recognize it early and do something about it. All right. Tip number 5, automate. And so I have a picture here, and this picture is here because this is one of the greatest inventions, right? The automatic door. What a great invention. Now, it's not to say that we can't open doors ourselves, right? Unless, you're missing, I guess, one hand, or you have difficulty opening doors, but it's not that opening doors could be, beneath us. But the idea that, what if all of your hands are full and there's no one around to open the door for you? Then, hey, automatic doors is awesome. It's amazing, right? Great invention. And so that's the thing about automating things in your business. Some things are things that you could just automate, things that are you can set to automatically happen. And you don't have to be there micromanaging that particular task. You don't have to be there in a sense, opening the door all the time. These things will happen automatic. You set it up, and just like it's kind of like a sensor, because that's how automatic doors work. A happens, you stand below the sensor, it identifies you, boom, and the door opens, you walk right through it. It happens seamlessly. So I want to share a few cool tools and software that's available for entrepreneurs. One of the ones that I want to tell you about is HootSuite. HootSuite is perfect for the small business owner or the solo business owner. I can tell you that I definitely use this to schedule my Twitter posts, because one thing that frustrates me about Twitter is that I can't schedule my tweets ahead of time. And so with using this, then you'll be able to use HootSuite. And the only thing about that, there is a free option, but you can only schedule about 30 posts a month, I believe, for free. So each tweet was count in your 30. So, that means you can only tweet about once a day, and then the other one you'll have to tweet on your own time. But Facebook is amazing. You can schedule your Facebook post ahead of time. You don't have to schedule your Facebook post in the moment. If you are a fan on my Facebook page, I do not post. Sometimes I may post things in the moment. Majority, I'm probably about 90 to 95% of my posts are scheduled on the weekend. I schedule them especially on our drive on the way to church on Sunday morning. I'm sitting there on the passenger side because my husband always drives us to church. I schedule all of my Facebook posts. I schedule 2 for every day. So I schedule about 10 Facebook posts on the way to church and on the way back. And so I make sure that that's a schedule. I set that. And that's something that I put in my business, in part of my plan of being an entrepreneur. That's part of my business. That's what I do, and I schedule those. But like I said, anytime you want to use, Instagram, if Instagram is a big part of your business, Twitter is a big part of your business, HootSuite is awesome for that. And there's other tasks that I can schedule as well. But the main thing is trying to manage multiple social media platforms. And HootSuite can post to up to 35 social media platforms at once. So it's a really great platform. You can see who's talking about what. It also gives you other great data and tracking information. You can see who is talking about what, and then target your keywords to those conversations. Don't forget, there's, the great hashtags that you can use. Some social media sites will give you a lot more traffic if you use 10 or more hashtags. You can preload hundreds of social media content pieces, and your team can curate mini content for your newsletters, or any other things that you want to push out there, advertisements, events you have going on. Another great tool, like webinars. Webinars are a great thing. You can automate your webinars, which is something that I'm moving to. I realize that in the nature of my business, I am going to move to just recording my webinars ahead of time and then just sending that out instead of having scheduled webinars. I'm getting to a point in my business where I'm really busy. I got a couple of coaching clients, and my business is really scaling, and it's awesome. And so I realize now I can't really spend my time. It's not my best. My time is not best spent actually scheduling webinars. And so that's what I'm saying. Even as I go along myself, I have to recognize the changes that you have to make for your business and what works for you, and then what works with your time. And so for me, for my time, I have decided that it's best for me to go ahead and pre-record my webinars and then have those available for people to watch. And that works better, I believe, for my business. But then if it doesn't work, and then if I need to go back to hosting live webinars, then I can definitely do that. ClickFunnels. You can just go to clickfunnels.com. This works for advertising. I use ClickFunnels for my ads. So basically I pre-record a kind of webinar, or you can pre-record a PowerPoint, and basically you set that up in ClickFunnels and you create an ad on some social media site, or just an ad period. Once people click on that ad, it takes them straight into ClickFunnels, and they can either sign up for your newsletter and they get some content. So they may get a video, they may get, or any other type of content that you may be giving. It could be an advertisement, something really quick. And as a result of that, and so basically all it does is just drive more business and more traffic towards your business and your company and your and whatever your products or services are. And so ClickFunnels is amazing. It kind of acts as as an advertiser without you physically having to be somewhere, and without you having to constantly say the same spiel over and over and over. And so ClickFunnels is really awesome. Another thing that I use within my business is schedule once. So rather than trying to compare calendars and wait on people and go back and forth, a lot of my coaching clients, they schedule their coaching calls with me using a personalized link that I give to them. So once you become one of my coaching clients, you get a personalized link that has your name in it, and no one has that link but you. Anytime you need to schedule a coaching call with me, you click on that link, and it opens up the time that's available on my calendar. You pick one of those times that works best with your calendar, and we haven't even spoken to each other. And so you already have access to my calendar, and you already know when times are available that we can schedule a coaching call. On the other end, I love it because let's say, like I said, I have 3 kids. So somebody's birthday is coming up, or somebody has the, Taekwondo tournament, or something is going on. So on my end, all I have to do is go into schedule once. I take that time away and I block out that time, and I'm unavailable during that time. And so it will not offer any of those times in that day as an option. And so that's really, really awesome to help people so that you don't have to have scheduling conversations. People can just go in, and it's pretty low cost. It's about $19 a month, but definitely worth it to where you don't have to constantly say, well, how's your schedule, and compare schedules with people, because people can just go in and see where it works. And I love it because you can integrate it with your calendar on your phone. And so what happens is once somebody goes in and schedules something, it automatically pops up on my phone. And so I know that I have a coaching call coming up with one of my clients. And so it also helps me make sure I'm available and there for my coaching clients. All right. Let's say QR codes is the next thing. QR codes are amazing. So on my business cards, I have put a QR code in the back of my business card. And so basically what that does is give people more information. There's only so much information that you can place on a business card, right? And you want to tell people so much about your business, but people aren't going to listen to you that long for you to tell everything about your business. So QR codes are interesting, and they pique people's, they're intriguing, and they pique people's interest. So a lot of times, people have said that, oh, I love your business cards. I love the QR code. And so what I have if you have a QR reader, So you read the QR code, and what it does is it automatically adds you to my newsletter. And you also get my ebook, the How to Be an Ultimate Goal Crusher and Crush All Your Goals in 90 Days. And so you automatically get that just from, using your QR reader and scanning the QR code. There are other things that you could do. You can have a link going to your ClickFunnels on the back of your business card. So I just can't express enough. I use Vistaprint for a lot of my advertising, and Vistaprint does have an option to put a QR code on to any of your, it could be on a shirt, it could be on any of the products they have for marketing for your business. You can put a QR code anywhere or any of your advertising or marketing products. And so I just can't say it enough how amazing QR codes are. Like I said, you can have it as a link to a video, that you set up. That is, a video of yourself marketing your business or advertising your business. So QR codes are great. Another one is Zapier is another one that I use. And so what it does, they have what is called Zaps, and you can integrate lots of activity apps together for them to talk to each other. So you go into Zapier and you use them, you set them up. And so, for example, anytime someone schedules a coaching call with me, then I may put them on a particular email list because they become one of my VIP clients. And so rather than having to, once someone books a coaching call and then I have to go into my marketing funnel or my email marketing campaign, and then I have to then assign them and put a tag on them, I don't have to do all of that. Zap does it for me. You set it up and you automate it. You tell it what to do and it works together. I mean, it works with MailChimp. It works with Aweber. It works with Webinar Jam. It works with so many Zoom, so many different Infusionsoft. I mean, it's endless. There's so many Zaps that you can create. And that's just automation for your business. Again, there's free options. I think it gives you about 5 Zaps a month or something like that. But then, of course, there are other paid options. But again, it doesn't cost that much at all. And then you get a report. I think a weekly report, it comes out letting you know how many Zaps, how many tasks that it automated for you that you didn't have to do anything. You just set it and forget it, right? All right. And so those are some of the apps that I use that really help me scale my business. And then I don't have to focus on those. And so again, I'll share those with you all. If you're more interested in learning more information, just email me and let me know. And I can definitely get that information to you. All right, tip number 6 is delegate. Again, focus on your strengths and delegate your weaknesses. There are things that I know that I'm not good at. That's just not my thing. And so I know that, like, for example, I am not a person who is musically inclined. I can't make a beat or anything to save my life. I have a cousin who produces beats. And so I recognize that that's his strength. That's something he does. He does it naturally. And so rather than paying a company, again, like I said, and I know my cousin is quality. And so rather than paying someone, and then leverage your business, so I told him, hey, I'll do a coaching call with you and do your top 5 strengths. And if you can make an introductory beat for, I have a podcast that I'm developing. So I'm going to have a podcast soon, which is why I can't sit and do my webinars anymore. So, but I asked him, I said, hey, can you create some introductory music for my podcast? And he was like, definitely. And just like that, and that's all I had to do. Right. So I didn't have to spend hours trying to figure out trying to make some music or spending out unnecessary money, trying to purchase some music. And just think about things. But again, as an entrepreneur, failure to delegate may mean the end of your business. Seriously. And no one wants to start over again. And I mean, especially due to a very simple mistake. In the successful entrepreneur's mind, there's a small compartment that understands micromanaging employees equals failure. And so again, I made sure I was clear as possible of what I wanted. to my cousin as far as the introductory music that I would like. I told him kind of what I wanted. I already know kind of his style that works for me. He's going to give it to me. And you have to be honest. If you like it, then say you like it. Don't say that, don't say you like something if you really don't like something, because remember, this is your business. This is your baby. And most times people want to please you if they're doing something for you. So just recognize that. And just understand that, like, for example, let's say that you've developed a new coffee cup that keeps liquids hotter longer than any other brand. And you need to be working on funding and promotions instead of daily bookkeeping. Daily bookkeeping is a necessity, right? Every penny in and out, it must be accounted for. And, but you may feel like, you know what, but all that numbers and all of that, that's just not the best use of my time. Remember, I told you about the virtual assistants. You definitely can use those. You don't always have to use a, high dollar CPA. You can start off using a simple bookkeeper or just hiring a virtual assistant that has bookkeeping experience. And like I said, you need a team of people to be successful. So even as an entrepreneur, even though you may put down, how many people do you have in your business? It may be one, but you may have a whole team of people behind you or behind the scenes that help you to make sure you get things done. So just, making sure that you have someone who does your simple bookkeeping, unless that's you, unless that's, something that you want to do. But just remember that you have to allocate time. If you're going to make that a priority, then you're going to have to drop something else, and you're going to have to delegate a particular other task to someone else. Now for the major stuff, money stuff, tax stuff, I would definitely say get an accountant unless you plan on spending hours upon hours of reading tax law. Especially when you get into S corps and LLCs, make sure that you, get in a CPA for that, so that tax time comes around, you're not penalized. Most likely a printer or a printing company that you trust that can do all of your brochures and business cards and all those types of things. Like I said, I use Vistaprint, but there are other people if you want a more personal, hands-on touch. I like doing all of my marketing myself. So I kind of have an eye for that. So, and I enjoy doing that. And so I do a lot of that myself. A lot of my website designing, I do it myself. But at the same time, I'm not building it from the ground up. It's, drag and drop. So I use templates, and then, like I said, in Vistaprint, I use templates and go from there. PR person, someone who can get your marketing and, out there. If you have friends, you can ask them, to get your business out there and ask them to talk it up. You can pay them to retweet something that or share something that you posted on Facebook. Sometimes you don't even have to pay someone to do that, just because they want to see you shine and see you successful. People will do things for you. Like I said, you have not because you ask not. So just understanding that, with a team, even just a small one to start and then to grow with a virtual assistant or a personal assistant by your side, you can manage and direct that team while you focus on the big picture. All right. Finally, we get to tip number 7. Tip number 7 is focus. Focus is so important. In business, there's so many things that are going on at one time. You need to do marketing. You need to do networking. You need to do bookkeeping. You need to do all these things. And then there's these ideas that are popping out of your head all the time. Like, oh, I want to try this. And oh, I need to do this. And oh, I want to do that. Right. So it's hard, but you want to make sure that you stay on task, stay focused, so that you can achieve your business goals. Now, sometimes you may have a great idea and it may be a one-off. And, I'm not saying to not be adventurous in business. Try it. You never know, it may work, but definitely make sure that you stay focused. And it's an absolute must to stay focused as an entrepreneur. And even as, staying focused in working with people, because remember, this is your business. And so sometimes in networking with people, or, kind of setting up agreements with people, they'll start giving you ideas, or your friends or family are saying, oh, I know what you need to do for your business. Try to just smile and say thank you. You don't have to argue with them, because they're not going to know whether you decided to implement it or not. So people have great ideas all the time. I carry a journal around with me. People tell me great ideas or topics they think I should explore. Sometimes I hear things here and there. I have my notebook, and I just kind of jot things down. Oh, that's good. That sounds good. And I just kind of jot those things down. People are going to suggest things, just write it down, smile, say thank you. But if it's off track, and it's not a part of, your focus of your business, then I would say stay away from that. Without being able to focus on what is truly important, you will self-sabotage your future. I can't say that enough. So let's talk about, the ultimate focus, right? So have you ever heard of the term, he or she is not the sharpest knife in the drawer? That certainly doesn't apply to you. It's not going to apply to you. You are already sharp. Now you have to just hone that sharp focus. Remember, again, if you are putting people around you who are going to sharpen you and sharpen that saw within you, it will help you have that laser focus, right? Because the sharper you are, you'll have a better ability to have laser focus, right? Because you'll be able to cut out all that extra junk. And so all entrepreneurs, they will start with some sort of business plan. They might have a simple one that they put together, but as you are putting that plan together, you're already practicing focus, right? And so one of the things with starting a business, the main thing that you with starting a business, the main thing you think of first is funding, right? I have to get funding. So, and in getting funding, you have to think about where is it going to come from, because the greatest thing in business is definitely not to try to use the least amount of your own personal money as possible, right? So you want to definitely use other people's money if possible, to get your business going, or to use to help you grow and scale your business. But think about it. Before any entrepreneur heads off to a group, or, of investors or angel investors, or to a bank, you have to be crystal clear in your mind about what you want and when you want it. Because the very moment you hesitate, or there's anxiety over being turned down for funding, it can derail you. Just like Shark Tank. If you've ever watched Shark Tank, they are sharks. They sense that fear. They're waiting for that hesitation. They're waiting for that self-confidence that you thought you had outside. Once you go inside, they're looking for it to drop. They're looking for, an avenue in there, because if you're steadfast, and, you say, hey, you know what? I have focus. I know this is my business. This is my plan. This is the problem I'm solving. And it's amazing. And so as long as you keep that and focus, just focus on the merits of your business, and then your abilities to make your venture successful. Just focus on that. They can smell the fear. But if you have a clear vision in your mind as you walk through the door of the bank, or you walk, if you ever have an opportunity to be on Shark Tank, just confidence, and just, exude that as much as possible. Once you have your business plan complete, then you start focusing on tasks. And like I said, you write out those clear goals. And to be honest, put your goals in 90-day timeframes. 90-day timeframes. I spent 90 days at the first part of my business growing my Facebook following, and my goal was to get to 1,000 followers. At this point, the last time I checked this morning, I was about at 1,100 followers. And so I have reached and surpassed my goal within 3 months. And so my goal was that once I reached 90, after those 90 days, and I reached over 1,000 followers, then I was going to transition over to Twitter and grow my Twitter following. And so that is what I'm doing right now. And I just started that. And even as Twitter, I think I have about 160 followers. So if you're not following me on Twitter and you're an active tweeter, you can follow me at Strive2Lead. That's Strive, the number 2 lead. And so just, follow me on Twitter. I would love to have you as a follower. But just make sure that you put things, break your tasks down, break your goals down into smaller time chunks. Think about what you're going to focus on that week. Think about where you're going to focus on, for the month. Think about where your goals are. You've got to focus yourself, because if you don't focus yourself, you'll be all over the place. Like I said, laser-like focus can only be achieved if your physical and mental health is at peak. You need to eat properly throughout the day, stay hydrated, eat a lot of fruit. Of course, you need to exercise to reduce stress and to clear your mind. I try my best to meditate as much as possible. If you can get into a daily routine before you even get out of bed, before you read emails, before you grab your phone to look at Facebook, try to meditate and spend some time just clearing your mind, being grateful, being thankful. Lots of times people journal at night, making sure that you get the proper amount of sleep. That is paramount to great focus. In order to sleep well, you have to clear your mind of all negative thoughts and do some affirmations before bed. Those will empower you, because think about it, if you have those affirmations on your mind as you go to sleep, those are the positive things that you'll have going, that's the positive energy you'll have going on around you. You don't want to have toxic energy going to sleep and having that sit on your brain. You definitely want either tonic energy that, it's calming, or you want some positive energy. Sometimes waking up in the morning, taking a cold shower, waking up at 6 or earlier, I actually get a lot of productivity done. Like I said, at the times when I do wake up, I get up, and I just have it as a routine. I go into my office, I check my numbers on Facebook, I put it into my spreadsheet. And at this point, it takes me about 5 or 10 minutes now. It's really quick because I've gotten in the habit of doing it. So, and if there's any books that you, are into, if you're into reading books, you may say, well, I don't have time to read books. I feel you. I don't have time to read books either. So, a lot of times the books that I want to read, I have an Audible account. They give you a free credit, I think, every month, and it's like $14.99 or so. And you can get a book on Audible, and you can just listen to it to and from your different places in your car. If you have Alexa at home, since Audible is an Amazon company, you can just tell Alexa to read, the book, and wherever you stopped in your car, Alexa will pick it up and read it in your house. And you'll be able to use that in your you'll be able to, like, while you're cooking or whatever, you can hear her. I shouldn't have said Alexa out loud. She started lighting up as if she was waiting for me to say something. Anyway, making sure that you have a positive mindset, and making sure you understand, I'm unstoppable. I'm amazing. I can do this. One of my goals that I tell myself every day, and I have it written down, is that I will be one of the top StrengthsFinder coaches in the world, not just in Texas, not just in the nation, but in the world. So that's something that I am looking forward to doing, and that's something that I tell myself. And so far, it's doing well. It's working for me. I'm not the top in the world yet, but I get coaching clients and calls and emails on a regular basis. So it's awesome. So just understand, lots of entrepreneurs, they rank in numbers, in terms of numbers. They focus on tasks, and they have a time frame that they work from. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Basically, they ask themselves, will this matter in 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 weeks, 5 months, or 5 years? If the answer is yes, then that task is very important, and they focus on doing everything required to complete that task. You, as a business owner, can completely lose focus if you concern yourself about the competition. Like I said, remember the bread aisle? So if that's what, the first person or the third or fourth person, who decided to make bread. I mean, look at Wendy's, all these burger makers, right? At the very least, you can make a burger at home, but that does not stop you from going out to go get a burger. You go out to get a burger because it's convenient, right? But, just because there's a McDonald's, that doesn't stop Wendy's. Just because there's a Wendy's, that doesn't stop Jack in the Box. Just because there's a Jack in the Box, that doesn't stop, now IHOP decides they want to make burgers. Go figure. But anyway, so just understand that it's important to focus on your business because you have no control over what other people are doing. Just do what you do and do it the best. I am not the only personal development coach out there, but there are a tribe of people that need to hear the same message that someone else has, but they need to hear it from me because for whatever reason, hearing it from me just sounds sweeter. And hey, that's what I go on. I don't worry about trying to be everyone's personal development coach, although that would be nice. But I speak to the people who I need to speak to, and the people that I speak to that are a part of my following, those are the people that I focus my time and energy on. When you think of an elite racer for the 100-yard dash, they are intensely and completely focused. They don't think about anything else. They don't turn around and look and wave at people in the stands, cheering them on. They have one goal, and one goal only is to get across that finish line and win that medal. So, however, they understand that what the goal. So they are preparing themselves by breathing, by visualizing, running the race already. And so you visualize yourself being a successful business owner. Take the time to develop your laser-like focus on your task and ultimately your business. By doing that, the rewards will be more than worth it. I have just given you the seven of the best tips for time management for entrepreneurs. They're all right in front of you. Just to recap them all, set goals, define tasks, plan, eliminate, automate, delegate, and have focus. My name is Ronika Jacobs. My company is Strive Leadership Consulting. I put my website there. Thank you so much for joining me for this hour. Without further ado, I'm not going to take any more of your time. I want you to have a wonderful evening. If you have any questions, you can email me at rjacobs@striveforleadership.com. That's rjacobs@striveforleadership.com. Thank you so much. Good night.